Okay, welcome back, students. Today we are going to continue looking at proportions. Today we're going to actually learn the different properties of proportional relationships, and we're going to learn about something called cross products, and that's going to enable us to solve a proportion. So when we're looking at a proportion, remember we talked about that that's when two ratios are equal to each other. So a ratio like 2 to 3 and 4 to 6. And for those of us, who are real comfortable with our fractions, we know that those are two equivalent or equal fractions. So those are also two equal ratios. Now, ratios have some really cool properties that is going to allow us to do a lot of work with them. And we're going to be talking about something called cross products today. And this is true when two ratios are equal to each other. We say that they're in proportion or they make a proportion. And so they have cross products that are equal. So what that means is if we divide or if we multiply diagonally 3 times 4 and we multiply diagonally the other direction 2 times 6, those products, remember product is the answer when we multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Those products, those answers are equal. And when this happens, we know that we have a proportional relationship. Now that's going to come in really handy because we're going to be able to identify whether two ratios are in proportion or equal to each other. And then we're also going to be able to identify a missing value in a proportion. And so that's going to allow us to solve. So we've practiced writing and setting up proportions, and today we're going to add that next step of solving. So I just want to make sure we really understand. So in a proportion, when we're looking at our two ratios, if we do our cross products, we will end up with two products, two answers to the multiplication that are equal. If we're looking at two ratios and they are not proportional, that means that the two ratios are not equal to each other. When we cross multiply, when we do our cross products, we'll see that, oh my goodness, the products or the multiplication came out to be different. So those we would say are not proportions. Now, the reason that this is handy is because really the goal of mathematics is to take something in real life that we don't know and to use math to come up with a solution. So we're going to look at some real-world problems where we can solve using mathematics. So here we go. We are going to solve this proportion for the value x. That means we're going to figure out what number x can be. Now, I know some of you have really good number sense and you're like, oh, I already got the answer. We're going to start with some easier proportions, ones that we visually might just look at and kind of go, oh, x must be this. But we're going to learn the process. So we're going to have to show our work a very specific way. So when you're doing these problems, in order to get credit, you need to be showing the cross products, just like I'm about to show you, because eventually the problems are going to get much, much, much more complicated. So if we practice the process on the easy problems, when we get to the really tough problems, it's going to go a lot better for us. So here we go. 50 times x is 50x. 20 times 25 is 500. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 50, divide by 50, and x equals 10. So that's all there is to solving a proportion, is looking at those cross products, doing the cross multiplication, which gives us an equation, and then going through the steps for solving the equation. So let's do one more together. So again, we're going to solve for x. we're going to look at our cross products. 15 times x. So we're going to write that down. And that is equal in a proportion to our other cross product, 9 times 75. Now, if you can't do that in your head, that's okay. There's nothing to worry about. You just write it off to the side and you do your multiplication off to the side. So 675. And there's never a problem with having to do the multiplication off to the side, right? That's not a big deal. Then we have our equation. We're going to solve by dividing by 15. Okay, and x equals 15 goes into 67 4 times with 7 left over. 15 goes into 75, 65 times. So our answer is 45. So make sure when you're solving, all of your work should show the cross products being equal, solving the equation, getting to your answer. All right, let me know if you need any help.